The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Jason Tatum, great game, 42 points, but left late with what looked to be a significant right leg injury. Jalen Brunson, 18 of his 39 in the third quarter. Brunson coming through. The Knicks coming through. They are up 3-1 as they win, 121-113. One more win, and the Knicks are on the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Great to have you with us. Bill Pidto, Alan Hahn, Wally Szczerbiak from our Delta MSG studios. What an epic second half, Alan, for the Knicks. They outscored the defending champs in the second half, 70-51. We talk a lot about three-point shooting. Boston began 12 of 24, but in the second half, from deep, they went only 5 of 21.
They had to wait that part of it out. But Jalen Brunson in that third quarter went 1984 Bernard King. He just decided that's it. Enough's enough, and he started getting into attack mode. All the words he was using, the urgency, the intensity, the force, all the things that he talked about, he brought in that third quarter. It got the building going. They went from down 14 with the lead, and it was just a completely different feeling in that building, momentum change.
Yeah, it was a big-time performance. They got stops. Those stops led to the aggressors, and the Knicks took over, and that building was fun.
All right, guys, Josh Hart is across the street. He now joins us. Josh, thanks so much for joining us. Congrats on a great win. Tell us about the second half. You guys were dominant after halftime. How'd you do it?
Yeah, man, I think it kind of started in the second quarter. I think we only allowed 23 points in that second quarter. The first quarter is what really killed us. So we knew, and it was the last couple of minutes of that first quarter, so we knew we had to pick it up. We did on the second quarter, and then coming out of halftime, we knew we had to really bring it in. That's what we did.
Josh, when they're hitting threes like they were doing early in that game, just like they were doing in Game 3, it's got to get demoralizing. In this game, did you just not allow that stuff to affect you?
Yeah, man. That's why you need to play every game as hard as you can with a sense of urgency and a sense of desperation in the playoffs. We let them get confidence last game, coming out and knocking down shots in the beginning of the game, and we couldn't put out a fire, and they came in with confidence because of that. And fortunately, we were able to get stops defensively, get out and run, and have play Knick basketball and have fun.
Josh, Jalen was Jalen, but there were contributions all over the roster from that locker room. Everyone seemed to get unlocked in today's game. How did it happen?
Nah, man, it was huge. Obviously, JB does what he does, but Cat, played a great game. OG let the game come to him and knocked down big shots and got big defensive plays. And then Mikal Bridges, man, you can't say enough about him, all the adversity that he's had this season, and he just keeps coming through for us in the clutch, man. So you got to give credit to those guys. I mean, they played well, and shout out to PJ Tucker for making sure we're up, we're talking. He brought that championship pedigree to us, and he deserves a big shout out.
What did PJ have to say to the guys? Did he have a speech or something about what you're referencing?
No, man, he's just something that always talks to us. He's a champion, and he's bringing that mentality.
Josh, thanks so much for dropping by. Good luck trying to wrap it up in Boston on Wednesday night. Knicks now up 3-1. And that third quarter, Allen and Wally, was so consequential because the Knicks are down 11 after the first two quarters, and Jalen Brunson just took control. We've seen this happen. He hasn't had his best game in this series until tonight, but 18 of his 39 in the third quarter. The Knicks were down by 14, and they closed the quarter on a 30-13 run. Yeah,
he just seemed to just start getting lit up. You could see him getting into the paint, into a little more of attack mode, and getting to his spots. And when he also doesn't let the defense get set, Wally, it's different. And it looked like he tried to speed up a little bit in this game to get to his spots.
Oh, no. He said, I got to get aggressive. And the quality of possessions and the different ways that the Knicks can score compared to the Boston Celtics, that's what took over this game for the Knicks. They need mid-range shots, they'll go to Bridges. They need layups. They were getting layups from Brunson. Jalen Brunson also, he started to knock down those threes. These are really good looks. Look at the quality of shots that the Knicks are getting. I've been saying this all along.
Yep.
When the Knicks can put the pressure on the Celtics and it's a close game, they have so many more options to score. The Celtics become so one-dimensional. Dribble the ball up the floor, Jason Tatum pick and roll, try to make a 23, 25-foot shot. And when once in a while he'll get double teamed, they'll find a guy in the corner. Happened to be Drew Holiday, who had a wide open three. He missed it.
Yeah.
They missed some of those open shots. There was so much pressure on those threes in the second half. The versatility that Tom Thibodeau has developed as an offense is the reason why the Knicks were able to just dominate that second half. They have so many more options, and they can keep the Celtics completely off balance with the many weapons that they have.
All right, we look at the fourth quarter, and Josh Hart referenced Mikal Bridges. You got Jalen Brunson often resting at the beginning of this fourth quarter, Wally, and Mikal Bridges, he has the ability to take control. He had the mid-range game going, and 10 of his 23 came in the fourth quarter. I think 8 of the 10 came with Brunson watching and resting early in the fourth quarter.
And that's tough for a defense to defend when you have another guy like that who can just make plays. And he's so good when he gets into that mid-range. They were just getting all kinds of mismatches. Kristaps Porzingis is getting switched off onto people. He's got a virus. He can't move. I mean, look at these. You got Al Horford starting out on Jalen Brunson.
They were
Al Horford's
bigs,
38
right?
years old, and he's guarding the most clutch player in the NBA. Mikal Bridges has a height advantage over Derek White. Use it. Every single possession, he can get whatever shot he wants. And then Captain Turnover just started to kick into gear, and the Knicks were getting turnovers all over the place. That was an awful sight to see. An unbelievable player, a superstar in the NBA.
He was killing it tonight, too.
Yeah, he had 42 points in this one, was keeping his team in it.
Look at that rattle in.
Huge shot by Jalen Brunson, just stretching those threes. When those are momentum threes, he started taking the momentum ones. OG Anunoby got himself into this game early by being aggressive, and just the dynamics of the Knicks offense. They are so dynamic the way they have so many different guys that can step up and take over. That's why they were a top offensive team all year long. Cat had a great game. Bridges had a great game. Anunoby had a great game. Mitchell Robinson came in and dominated the boards. Everyone played at a high level, and I was waiting for the Knicks to finally play the way they were capable of. They have not played well yet in this series until the second half, and they are leading 3-1.
One more win, they'll be into the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1999.
Wow.
You know all about what it's like to play in this league, and everybody references Mikal Bridges and what he's been through. Josh Hart always seems to talk about the resilience of Bridges hanging in there when maybe he hasn't been playing his best, some of the noise around his play. How about his ability now? You look at Bridges' playoff contribution, what he did against Detroit, what he did in the first 2 games of this series, and what he did tonight. I mean, he's arrived here as a New York Knick. There's no debating his impact on his team.
When you get traded to a new team, it's a huge adjustment. It really is. It takes time to get comfortable in your new uniform. And Mikal Bridges is there every single night, never misses a game. And in the biggest moments, he has put in the work and prepared himself to have success when the lights are brightest. I mean, this guy absolutely has showed up big time in these playoffs defensively, and then offensively, the unselfishness that he plays with. He never looks like he's trying to chase shots, chase the ball. He plays completely within the team concept. Everything that Tom Thibodeau talks about, just take what the defense gives you, step up and make winning plays. That's exactly what he has done this whole entire playoffs. And boy, does he have the clutch gene, too. You talk about Jalen Brunson having the clutch gene. That Villanova clutch gene runs deep on this team, and it is infusing into all these other guys.
And what I love is you just see the intensity in him in the fourth quarter. Of this game, you see the intensity of him on make shots, on getting after a rebound, on a putback. You saw that at the end of games 1 and 2, also the intensity on the defensive end. There's something like when it's winning time, he all of a sudden turns it up a notch. There's certain guys that have that, right?
It's rebounding.
7
He got
game.
every rebound in the second half. Every loose ball looked like KP had it. Nope, there goes Bridges, knocks it out of his hands, chases it down in the corner. Those are winning plays that Tom Thibodeau talks about, and he made every single one in that second half.
Got to mention Cat tonight, too, guys.
Yeah.
He did a great job going to the
23 and
basket,
11.
right, and was really, really effective down low, which has not always been the case in this series.
And I think his defense was better. I mean, he was switched off on some tough matchups, and he made those guys work for their shots and work for their points. And that's all you can do. Sometimes if you're playing defense, don't commit a dumb foul. Just stay Meat and potatoes, solid. If a guy makes a tough shot, you deal with it. You try to push Tatum inside the three-point line. You don't want to give him those step-back threes because those threes hurt a lot more than the long twos. So I think the Knicks have figured out that's what we have to do with this team. We have to make them take tough twos and not take those threes. And as a result, they did that in the second half, and it was an incredible team effort, defensively especially.
And that is something that you wonder if they are starting to learn as the series goes on. You've got to crowd them on the line. Don't let them get comfortable. You let them go inside the line. I'd rather give up twos than threes, and they almost don't want to take twos, so they'll almost be looking to kick it out instead of taking the mid-range you're given.
Knicks snap a 3-game home losing streak in these playoffs with the win, and one more win, and Tom Thibodeau's into the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll hear from the Knicks coach and have Monica McNutt's assessment when we come back after this.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
All right, welcome back. Knicks beat the Celtics 121-113. They now lead the series 3-1 as they outscore the Celtics in the second half 70-51. And the Knicks can wrap up the series Wednesday night in Boston. Pregame here at 6:30. Got the game at 7 and then an hour-long post-game show after the game. It's a national broadcast. As you know, we'll have an hour post-game show after game number 5. How important is it for the Knicks to win Game 5 and not have to worry about coming back here for Game 6?
Well, I mean, obviously it's critical, but the pressure goes back on Boston, who has not won a home game yet in this series. You don't know what the situation is going to be with Jason Tatum, but there's tons of pressure now on the defending champs. So for the Knicks, it's not that you play softer or you feel like you have it in the bag, but you know that they're the ones that are under pressure. You remember what that was like when they came in for Game 3, and you make sure you match it.
Yeah, you got to be ready for game. You play every game. Every game starts at 0. You go through your routine. You try to win and knock this team out immediately. You don't think about the next one. You have it at home, which is huge, but you obviously go try to get Game 5. All
right, guys. Monica McNutt now joins us. She, as always, was on the radio call on ESPN New York. Monica, what do you think? How about that second half? Knicks outscored the Celtics by 19 points.
Very impressive. I will tell you this, Tyler, obviously, you know we love sharing a little bit of our booth experience with the fans. Tyler looks at me and goes, I'm just so calm. Like, it was a comfortable win. I was like, this is an unusual feeling, isn't it, friend? So I think, of course, our hearts go out to Jason Tatum, and we hope that is not anything serious because everybody wants to be at their best in terms of getting the opportunity to move forward. But I kept looking at the box score, y'all. 1 turnover in the fourth quarter. And I think as much as we talk about Jalen Brunson, who is clutch, he had 8 points in the fourth quarter. He had 18 points in the third quarter. And Karl-Anthony Towns was huge. We also should be having conversations about clutch rebound performance, clutch defensive performance, clutch, just clutch attention, right, in terms of this team being able to support him in his scoring and Mikal Bridges, who had a big fourth quarter, but everybody else doing other things. And I immediately thought about what Tibbs said about rebounding runs after Game 2 when you look at that team being able to go on an 11-0 run to take the lead into the fourth.
Monica, that's something I was going to talk about when it comes to the box score. Before the game, I said this is a game where all hands are on deck. Every name in the box score has to have done something, accomplished something in this game. And when you look at the box score, it does feel like every player from OG Anunoby, Josh Hart had every column filled with something, and Towns with his double-double again. Brunson, obviously, his brilliance, and then Bridges early in the fourth quarter. You got help off the bench. Their bench didn't do any damage whatsoever against your team. This very much felt like every single player brought something to this game, didn't it?
I agree with you, and it reminded me, and I keep going back to Game 3 versus the Pistons. Everybody was a star in their role. It didn't seem like anybody was pressing. Everyone understood the tasks in front of them. I thought this team did a great job of competing on the defensive end, whether it was the mostly switches that we saw, even when there were moments where there were mismatches in terms of size. I mean, I was really baffled at the half, though, by the disparity in the free throw opportunities, but I thought they did a great job of staying focused because we've seen this team at points allow the lack of whistles going in their favor to become a distraction, and they did not do that tonight.
Monica, I love when you said how the Knicks only had 1 turnover in the fourth quarter. When it is clutch time and crunch time, Tom Thibodeau has these guys so organized compared to the way the Boston Celtics run their offense. What were you seeing just down the stretch as far as all the guys just being in the right place at the right time?
Wally, I think it goes back to my key in coming into the ballgame. I thought they were decisive. In the clutch in particular, it is so clear the ball's going to go to Jalen Brunson, and he's going to make the necessary decision. But even leading up to that, I thought they had a much better rhythm about themselves in terms of execution, in terms of getting to the old boards. Like, they just play with more confidence. And we talked about it as we closed out on the radio. I'm not going to say every time this team loses, they bounce back. But we have seen this team, particularly down the last stretch, the last 2 months or so of the regular season into the postseason, they seem to relish at the opportunity to get it right, and tonight they got it right in fine fashion.
All right, Monica, as always, we appreciate it. Have a safe trip to Boston, and we will talk to you on Wednesday night.
Sounds good.
I mean, the Knicks are one win away from going to the conference finals.
It's amazing. And
you
again,
know,
it was the resiliency that Josh Hart talked about, right? That second quarter, first quarter, they go 12-0 to finish the first quarter, and you're like, oh, they can't miss.
Yeah.
Like, all the things were going on, and they just kept staying with it and kept battling.
All right, Tom Thibodeau, as always, his post-game comments presented by Chase.
Questions?
Tom, obviously, they did hit some tough shots, but it felt like you guys were pretty connected for most of the part, defensively, offensively, good in the second half. What did you think of this group's performance in totality?
Well, I thought they hit us early, and obviously we got in a hole. But I love the way we fought back, showed a lot of toughness and more discipline in the second half, and then timely plays, everyone working together on both ends of the floor. So I think it starts with your defense. And then you have to have a lot of toughness, and then you have to do it together. And I thought the guys did that.
What you see with McKell in that fourth quarter, it looked like he was a little bit more assertive in trying to get his mid-range off.
Yeah, just, reading the game extremely well, getting to his spots. He had some big-time rebounds in traffic, some tough plays. I thought he was terrific in the fourth quarter. I thought OG gave us a huge game. And I thought Jalen, of course, was timely shot after timely shot, but I thought Mitch gave us big minutes. Cat gave us really good minutes. Deuce got us at a faster pace, so I thought that was good for us as well.
I mean, to say you don't want to do this, but you're down 14 again in the third quarter. Just kind of what it says about this team to keep coming back.
You just got to keep fighting, and that's sort of the nature of the game. There's, when you're playing a three-point shooting team like that, there's going to be variances in the game where there's runs and you can't go away. You got to keep fighting. And they have the ability to, make tough shots. I thought, Tatum had a monster game going. He's a great shot maker. And I thought a lot of the shots were challenged well, and he has the ability to make. And we have to have the determination to come back to do it over and over again and stick together.
Tom, what about the building and the electricity in the air when you guys were responding?
Yeah, and we always say, we got the best fans in the world, and the arena's great, the atmosphere, but we got to make sure we give them stuff to cheer for. So I think it's important to understand what goes into winning, and you have to earn your wins in this league. They're not given to you. And so the building is not going to win the game. Whatever the series, each game, you got to go in and put the work into winning that particular game. That's the only thing that matters.
Tom, you mentioned OG and what he gave you. It looked like he grabbed at his hamstring late in the first quarter, went to the locker room, came back. Just what did you see from him after he came back and the shots that he hit in the second?
Yeah, just toughness, timely plays, flying all over the place. That was a huge steal that he made for us. But he's so disruptive. It's not only and look, when you're guarding a guy like Tatum, there's a lot of stuff that he has to navigate through, and there's times you defend him well and he's still going to make, but to do it over and over and not get deterred and to keep fighting and then to make those plays that he made in the fourth quarter says a lot about him.
And there was a lot of talk earlier in the series about Mitch and the free throws, but they didn't foul him tonight, but he gave you a bunch of offensive rebounds again. Just what kind of lift did he give you?
Same thing. I think he and Cat played really well together. Josh was in foul trouble, so the two bigs and his defense, the offensive rebounding, that's huge for us.
Tom, you guys have kind of flipped the switch with the defensive rebounding the last game and a half. How important has it been to keep them off the offensive?
Well, it's huge because you got to finish your defense against them. You can get the initial part right, and then you can challenge the shot, and then they're very quick to the ball, and their guards pursue. Their bigs are relentless. You got to make sure you're getting bodies on them, and when you're switching, sometimes you got smalls on bigs, but you have to have the toughness to get the job done. Just get up in there and battle.
Tom, speaking of Mitch, he affects the board so much, even on plays where he doesn't get rebounds. What What do you feel like he gives you guys, even on the plays when he's not getting boards? How is he actually impacting?
Well, it's the pressure he's putting on the rim, and then the threat of the offensive rebound and the extra possessions and what that means to the team and the value that it brings to the team. And then I thought he and Jalen connected on the lob, so I think that having that pressure there is huge for our team, and there's not really a stat for that, but what it does is it creates advantages for us.
Tom, Mikel kind of struggled in the first half, but what did you see from him in that fourth quarter? And
just his demeanor, and that's what I love about him. He played hard the whole game. I thought he had some good looks. They didn't go in, but that didn't sway him at all. And then he got going, he big time in the fourth quarter. Those were huge shots he hit.
Tom, second half of the fourth quarter, you had Mitchell Robinson and Miles McBride out there. What led you to go with those two, and what did you see from the group during that stretch?
Well, the starters went on a run, so we ran with that longer. And then Josh got in foul trouble, so that's what really led to that. And then Cat needed a rest, and so we were just reading the game.
Tom, you always say Jalen gives you your best when his best is needed. Just that third quarter, he comes out 16 points in the period. Just what did you see from him in that period to go on that run that he had?
Yeah, just reading the game. He knew that we needed to be aggressive, and I thought that helped set the tone for what we were trying to do.
Coach, on that challenge where Josh got his fifth, what did your guys see for you to challenge it? And clearly the referee said it was a trip. So what did your guys see that caused you to want to challenge that?
I agree with our challenge guy. I disagree with the judgment on it, but sometimes that's the way it goes. You deal with it. But when you look at body position and you look at the things that occurred on it, yeah, I thought it was a good challenge.
Tom, 39 points for Brunson in a game like this, that's huge. Like, what makes him made for moments like this in the playoffs?
Just the way he's wired, a lot of poise under pressure. His confidence, I think, is always super high just because of the way he prepares and the way he works. So no moment is too big for him. You're not going to speed him up. He's not relying on athleticism, although he's more athletic than people realize. And then just his fundamentals, his footwork, to be able to get to the spots that he wants. He's great at creating separation, and he's always got great balance on his shot.
Tom, I don't think anyone knows the word on it yet, but Tatum was out in a wheelchair in tears. Just kind of thoughts on, I guess, if they have to go without him, what that means.
Yeah, I never want to see a player get hurt. And, he's been a great player, and he's a great guy, too. So I hope it's not a serious injury.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Tatum had 42 before he got hurt. Joe Mazzulla's reaction, his team now down 3-1. We'll hear from the Celtics coach when we come back right after this. Knicks dominate the second half. They beat Boston 121-113 and now lead the series 3-1. Knicks can wrap things up in Boston on Wednesday night, Game 5. We have a pregame for you at 6:30, and after the game, an hour-long postgame show. Let's now listen in to Boston head coach Joe Mazzulla.
No, not yet. I know it's a lower body injury. He's going to get an MRI tomorrow. He's with the doctors now.
Did they able to do any tests on site for any killers?
I didn't ask him. I just got the update from him. I just asked him how he was doing. So I'll get the MRI tomorrow, and we'll see what it is.
How concerned is that for you guys right now?
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously always concerned about someone's health. So, it's twofold. We're concerned about his health, where he's at, and then we're concerned about what we have to do better for Game 5 when we get back to Boston.
Duke. Joe, was it the Achilles or was it the ankle itself? And was it contact? Because there was some contact.
I have no idea. I got back there, talked to the medical staff. They told me it's a lower body injury, and they're going to get an MRI tomorrow. So, we'll see where it goes from there.
Gary.
Joe, to see him, he's the guy. If he's hurt, he gets up. When he doesn't get up, he's staying down. How does that make you feel? How did that impact the team that he couldn't get up on his own?
Yeah, obviously you're always worried about someone's health. So the fact that he had to be carried off, You know, like you said, you know, he's the type of guy that when he gets right up. So he didn't, and you know, we'll know tomorrow exactly what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to watch. You know, a guy like him get carried off like that.
You, Rob and Jack, did you have a chance to talk to him at all?
No, I didn't. No.
And how was you know, his reaction in the locker room? You know, what is the kind of?
Yeah, I mean, tonight, you know, we just didn't play well defensively, and you know, we're in a hole, and you know, we got to get back to Boston, and you know, we got to figure out a way to win. So, Knicks played great tonight. We had stretches of playing well, and they got the best of us, especially in that third quarter, with their pace, their offensive execution, and I thought their pressure took us out of you know, a lot of our actions and took away our rhythm, and you know, we have to fix that for next game.
Knicks won the third quarter 37-23. Still to come. Post-game reaction from Mitchell Robinson. But up next, the guys at the Wally Wall. Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson doing their thing when it mattered most. Look at the post-game celebration outside of MSG after the Knicks beat the Celtics 121-113 to go up 3-1. And we take a look at 4 of the 5 Knicks starters. We've talked about Brunson. We've hit on Bridges. We've mentioned Karl-Anthony Towns. Worth pointing out, OG Anunoby, 20 tonight, had only 7 points combined in the last 2 games. And he goes for 20 tonight to help the Knicks win. Over now to the Wally Wall with Allen and Wally, guys.
Thank you, Bill. And it's just really amazing that's the second half, a 70-point second half for the Knicks. The offense finally got on track. And so how did it happen? Well, let's first start with how it happened with Jalen Brunson and how he got to his spots and he went into that Jalen Brunson mode where he had to back up his words and he took over in that third quarter.
And the masterful play calling, too. You take Jalen Brunson off the ball. You have OG Anunoby handling the ball. Freeze it there. Now here comes Jalen Brunson in the corner, coming off the screen. Look at Josh Hart. Look at the screen he sets on Derek White, and Anunoby playing point guard gets the ball over to Brunson. This takes the pressure off Brunson a little bit from having to fight to run offense. It really wears you down when you got to deal with all those guys hanging all over you. Now look at this. Freeze it there. Look, Hart does a good job of not committing a moving screen, but slides up here a little bit. Anunoby's got the angle to get it over. No ball pressure here by Jason Tatum. And then Brunson, he's always reading the defense. Don't rush this shot. Pump fake. One dribble, get the wide open 3. Derek White out of the picture. Just outstanding offense. And that is a play we haven't seen much all season long. We haven't seen it in this series. Tom Thibodeau called it at the perfect time, and boy, did it lead to a wide open look when Jalen Brunson was already the Brunson burner and cooking.
Yeah, and again, that's teamwork right there. That's how
teamwork.
it all gets together. And, you know, Josh Hart doesn't get anything in the box score for that, but that's a screen assist and a really good one there. Now, you have to get Jalen Brunson some rest after an 18-point third quarter. So early in the fourth quarter, Tom Thibodeau has been making Mikal Bridges sort of the focal point. And boy, does that get him going offensively. And in that fourth quarter, he had 10 points and some big buckets.
He was automatic when he got to his mid-range, and he was taking advantage of a mismatch with a height advantage. Brunson here, good job, freeze it there. He's got a switch with KP on him, so everyone is looking to help. Everyone is like, wait a second, we got a 7-4 guy out on an island guarding Mr. Clutch. We got to be ready and in help position. So what does Jalen do? He reads that, kicks it quick to the corner. Now you got to close out with a guy trying to take away the 3-point shot. Bridges, really good in the mid-range, beat him. Already right there, beat his high foot. Once you get that angle into the lane, someone else is going to have to come help. There's breakdown and rebounding position here. This is just a whole mess. It's a scramble mess. Bridges with that fadeaway. He's so good in the mid-range, and I love what Bridges does. He takes those automatic twos. He shoots those at 70-80%. Meanwhile, Boston's jacking up those threes. Those threes that they're shooting, they're not as high percentage of a shot as that. And the Knicks were just methodical at taking good shots every single time down the floor. That shot them into rhythm, and that's why they played a flawless second half.
Yeah, it was a great second half. And again, all hands were on deck. Everybody contributed. Mitchell Robinson off the bench with 8 rebounds, 5 on the offensive glass. He's in the locker room right now.
Mitch, I know you're going to enjoy this this one tonight, but what's your mindset going into Game 5 and trying to close this thing out?
Just reset and, try to get it.
The first couple of games, there's a lot of talk about the free throws and whatever. But did you feel like you were able to affect the game like you can tonight with the offensive rebounds?
Of course. That's like one of my strengths. That's what I go for, and I get a couple of them. How many I had tonight? Like, what, 4, 5?
I think at least
5? Yeah.
What's your reaction to Jason Tatum's injury? It looked pretty serious.
I hope he's all right, man. I've been dealing with injuries almost my whole career, so it's like I really hope he's all right. It's like, you don't want to see a guy go through stuff like that. It's like, I'm gonna pray for him, make sure he's straight.
When we come back, OG Anunoby's post-game reaction. He was all over the court, putting up some points as well tonight. We'll hear from OG after this. Welcome back. The Knicks can wrap it up Wednesday night in Boston. It's Game 5. Got a pregame for you at 6:30. Hour-long postgame show after the contest. OG Anunoby tonight, 20 points. Went 4 of 8 from downtown. Here he is now after the game.
OG, one of the best second halves by this team all season. What worked so well for you guys tonight?
Just getting stops, running on transition, playing hard, just doing what we do.
How much did you guys feed off the Garden crowd tonight?
Oh, definitely. It was amazing. It was electric. They were super loud, and we were definitely, yeah.
It looked like your hamstring might have been bothering you in the second quarter. Are you okay?
I think I'm fine. Was it bothering you? It just felt weird a little bit. I'm fine, though.
Excuse me, OG, what about the team's overall performance in that second half?
Yeah, they just asked that. It was great. We played hard. We got stops. We ran out in transition and scored.
Coach, they got up 14, but it felt like they made a lot of tough shots throughout the course of the game. Did you feel like, in terms of long stretches, that was maybe the best combination of offense and defense you guys have maybe played in this postseason and feeling it on both sides?
Yeah, for sure. We've watched the film, and definitely, if that's what it felt like. We're forcing them in tough shots, and then we were playing really efficiently, moving the ball on offense.
Was there a point, maybe a specific play or run, I guess, where you could really feel it turning?
I don't know. To watch the film, but I guess in the third quarter, I don't remember the exact score, but yeah, we went on a little run. They called timeout. I don't know how many times, but yeah, we went on a little run in the third quarter.
OG, Tom says you have to earn victories in the playoffs. What'd you like about the way you earned this victory tonight?
We didn't lay down. It was tough. They were up a little bit. Things were going their way. Stuff wasn't going our way, but we just kept fighting.
How about the performance by Mikal tonight on both ends of the floor?
Oh, yeah, he was amazing tonight, doing it all on both sides, making plays happen and then hitting shots,
OG, you've been on Tatum a lot in this series. Just what do you think when he goes down there at the end of the game?
I didn't see what happened. I hope he's okay. I'm not sure what happened. I really hope he's okay.
What's the feeling heading into Boston for Game 5?
I'm going to watch the film and always want to win the game. So close the series out.
Guys, you look at how the Knicks have been constructed. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, in many ways, want them to go up against the Celtics wings. Yeah. And Allen, to this point, you can make the case that Bridges and Anunoby have at least been equal to or maybe better than Tatum and Brown.
In the fourth quarter especially, when it mattered, when in time. They both have made huge plays. And OG knocked down 4 threes in this game. That's the biggest part for me, is that when he spaces the floor and you can kick it out to him, he catch and shoot. He's got a really good touch. He got a little lost in Game 3 where they couldn't find him. They weren't getting him the ball. He never got into rhythm, didn't get much offense going. But in this game, when you guys working that hard going up against a superstar like Tatum, you want every now and then make sure he's touching the basketball and feeling good. And that he definitely made the Knicks happy that he was getting the ball. 4 of 8 from downtown.
He made some big ones in the second half. Those step backs, he drilled them, nothing but net, shot the ball with confidence. And I think when you watch that Knicks offense and that ball moves, that helps everyone get involved. Yep. And when everyone touches the ball, initiates some offense, gets to pass to their teammates, then when they get the opportunity to get that shot, you're so much more in rhythm. And I love, one of Monica's keys at the beginning of the game when we were talking was get the Knicks back into their rhythm. We saw what the Knicks can do offensively when they get into a good offensive flow and rhythm. That's what NBA basketball and basketball is all about. That second half was flawless.
Karl-Anthony Towns, we've mentioned his numbers 23 and 11. We haven't mentioned the fact that he went 11 of 15 from the floor. Incredibly efficient. We'll hear from Kat when we come back after this.
The Knicks Postgame Show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
The Knicks beat the Celtics tonight, 121-113. They now lead the series 3-1 and can wrap it up Wednesday night in Game 5 at Boston. We're on the air at 6:30 with a pregame show. After the game, as always, an hour-long postgame show. Karl Anthony Towns, 11 of 15 from the floor overall, but 11 of 12 tonight from 2. Here's Cat now after the game.
Using the word execution, the team needed to execute better. How did you like how the team executed tonight?
I mean, I thought we did a great job. They came out defending champions with a bunch of energy, and they executed at a high level. Start the game, I thought we did a great job of just staying strong, staying disciplined, continue to believe in each other, and found ourselves executing, what we had to do to find a way to win. Their team is special. They're defending champions. It takes a whole team to beat them.
Carl, what is, as a fellow very tall person, what is it like watching?
Am I tall?
No, I know you're tall.
Oh, okay. Shout out to my tall people.
Because Mitchell Robinson is also very tall.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like watching a dude like that just take over the offensive boards like he's?
I mean, he's special, man. I mean, you when you're playing against him, you understand what he brings to a team, and when you're playing as his teammate, you can see even more the magnitude, the impact he has in the game, and he was just special tonight and doing everything we needed him to do, whether it was guard their big men, or also getting big rebounds, alley-oops, timely buckets. He was able to do it all. So shout out to him, man. Maybe he deserves those pickup trucks.
In such a tough game with such an amazing response from the Knicks, can you describe, in such a tough game?
No, I got you.
Oh, with such an amazing response from the Knicks, can you describe the emotions, the feelings you had on the court playing in this building?
I mean, just these fans have been special all year, and they, when you got the fans we have, when you have a city that's supporting you the way our city does, anything's possible. And it's because of them that, we enjoy, and we have such a joy in our hearts coming to work every day. So shout out to our fans, shout out to the city, really supporting us throughout the ebbs and flows of the season.
Carl, Tim's talked before this series about the type of pride it's going to take defensively to compete with a team like this, and your defense on an island against Tatum and Brown throughout this whole series was really good. Just how would you interpret the way that you played against them, and kind of the team as a group rising to the challenge?
I ain't gonna lie, man. Tatum was hitting some shots at the end, bro. Man, that's all I could do. But shout out to him too. I'm praying for him. If you saw me on the court, I just wanted to pray for him. You look bad, so prayers with him and his family. You never want to see anybody in the NBA get hurt like that, and I hope it's something minor and not something major. So. That's first off, but just like I said, this team needs to do whatever it takes to win, and you can't speak it without doing the action. I want to be able to walk the walk and also talk the talk. So, shout out to my teammates trusting me in these situations, and I'm happy that I was able to at least, like you said, make it tough on them.
Sounds incredibly efficient. One thing we haven't talked about, the Knicks. We talked in the pregame. Knicks had to get off to a great start. They're down 16-6, but then they came back to go up in front 17-16. I thought that may have been a key sequence in the game, because in these preceding games, they haven't been able to bounce back so quickly, and they've been kind of dead in the water after those rough starts.
It's the resiliency that they were talking about having to have in this game because of what Boston can do with those threes. And in fact, they ended that quarter on 4 straight threes after they had taken that 1-point lead, 28-27, and then they hit 4 straight threes. And all of a sudden, you're like, how are we down? Like, it's just unbelievable how they can shoot those threes. But once that went away, that's when the game changed in favor of the Knicks, so they stuck with it.
An example of what we're talking about here, Derek White had 4 threes in the first quarter and only 2 threes the rest of the game. Here's White now at the podium.
I mean, obviously that's our brother, and you hate to see him go down, and like we just know the type of guy he is, and it's tough to see him go down, but obviously right now it's pretty low because of the game, and we just got to find a way to win Game 5.
The third quarter, guys go 14, and all of a sudden they start going on their run where they can't miss. It's the third game that's happened. Why has the defense been unable to kind of get those timely stops?
I think we just got to be better. obviously some are tough shots, and but you just got to find a way to get a stop, especially in those moments. And they were just better than us today.
Derek, Joe kept mentioning the transition defense and the offensive rebounds. Obviously, if they run on double big lineup, so it's tough sometimes. But what else can you guys do to sort of hone back in on those things? Because it seemed like there was more success in Game 3 than tonight. It's back to the same issues in Game 1 and 2.
Yeah, you just got to find a way. Whoever's out there, whatever it takes, and just find a way. So, find a way.
White had 23 in the game. Jalen Brunson, we call him Captain Clutch, but his biggest work tonight was in the third quarter. Going to hear from the Knicks captain coming up. Welcome back, everyone. Knicks need one more win to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. They beat the Celtics tonight, 121-113. Jaylen Brown had 20, but only 7 after halftime. Here he is now after the game.
It's tough. There's not really a lot to say. We didn't say much. Felt like we just, it wasn't a lot to say. Obviously, JT, everybody's concerned with him. But tonight, defensively, our defense let us down. Just no resistance.
Jalen, obviously, basketball, like you guys are going back to Boston for Game 5. When something like this happens, like this is bigger than that. How do you focus on what is going to be like a season-deciding game when something like this is happening?
Yeah, we take the night and get back up tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. And we go from there.
Back now from the corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Wally, you're the former player. You've been in these locker rooms. You've seen these things happen up close. Celtics seem like a defeated bunch, and understandably so.
Listen, there was a heartbreaking loss first and foremost, but there still is emotions, and there still are human beings in that locker room. And when one of your teammates, one of your brothers goes down like that, it shakes you. It takes a lot, to kind of come back and do your job, which the Celtics are going to do. They're going to figure out a way to do it. They're professionals. I wish nothing but the best for Jason Tatum. He's a superstar in this league. The NBA is not the same without him on the floor. So I'm praying that this is not a major injury that's going to keep him out long term.
He was having an incredible game.
I know.
The shot making for him, he had 7 threes. His playoff career high, you said, was 8,
yeah.
Right? So he was on pace for a career night at 42 points. He just looked effortless with his offense. And as Karl Anthony Towns was just saying a moment ago, how difficult it was to guard him. He's like, he was just making incredible shots. So, those are the kind of moments that can obviously change a series and change the playoffs. And it is something that is certainly going to be a big story tomorrow in Boston and around the NBA.
Wally, what's it like when you're on a team and the other team's star is out in terms of how it might impact the Knicks' approach going into Game 5?
Well, I love what Karl Anthony Towns said. That's just a classy opponent. It really is, and that's the epitome of sportsmanship. And in the end, win or lose, you want to shake your opponent's hand and you want to display good sportsmanship. So I think that was awesome what he did. The Knicks cannot worry about that. They have a focus and a job to do, and this is why they have one of the best coaches, I think, in the NBA, because he will get his team prepared to the max, prepared to the fullest to go out there and do what they have to do, and that is finish this series immediately, get that 4th win in order to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, guys. Jalen Brunson started in the third quarter with 18. Mikal Bridges had 10 in the fourth quarter. Each now, let's listen into them at the podium.
I just want to make that and say that first and foremost. Thoughts and prayers with him, and just praying for the best.
Obviously, another crazy game, crazy runs, but not just. How do you process the comeback, the win, and what it means for the series right now?
It means a lot. It was a big game for us. Just the way that we've responded is what I'm most proud of. Sticking together and just making sure we're not quitting. And that's a tough team over there, and obviously we want to get out to better starts. And but they got experience. They're defending champs for a reason. So a lot of credit to what they do. I'm just happy how we fought.
Hi, over here, Jalen. Mikhail, wondering your vantage point on the play where you get the deflection, OG gets the run out dunk, Tatum goes down. What did you see in that moment? What were you thinking when you saw that he was down? What was your perspective on it?
I thought he rolled his ankle. And then obviously we want to go out there and compete. But when a player of his caliber goes down and he's rolling in pain like that, you knew something's wrong. So that's why I just gave my thoughts and prayers, because you never want to see something like that ever.
Either one of you, it felt like a lot of the shots they made early on were tough shots, and you guys made them work. Did you guys feel like that in the moment, that what you guys were doing defensively was working, aside from maybe a few minor missteps here and there, but in total you guys were doing what you were supposed to do in this game?
Early on, I don't think so. I think early on, a lot of miscommunication, transition. Derek White getting a lot of looks. They just made a lot of tough shots, and we could live with that. But early, having the early struggles offensively, we can't let that, happen on the other end. We're getting good shots for them, and just got to communicate better.
Bridges was huge, and as for Brunson, he joins Walt Frazier as the only players in Knicks postseason franchise history to have at least 35 points, at least 10 assists, and at least 5 rebounds in the same playoff game. So the Knicks on the verge of a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. They beat the Celtics tonight, 121-113, outscoring the defending champs 70-51 in the second half. Jalen Brunson 39, 18 coming in the third quarter. OG Anunoby 20. And a whole lot to celebrate at MSG. We'll see you on Wednesday night, 6:30 pregame, hour-long postgame show. Want more than just a postgame show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free, or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.